Across the street is the old State House. It actually was built here in 1713 on the ruins of the first townhouse built in the 1680s. Townhouse is where the town government met and the provincial government met. There also were shops on the first floor, a library on the top floor. It was paid for by a guy named Robert Keayne, K-E-A-Y-N-E. In fact, there's a little marker to Mr. Keayne over there. He was a merchant from England, had come over in the 1640s. His very devout man, but in the 1640s, he was fined £200 for selling a bag of nails and charging more than 50 shillings. He was charged with overcharging for a bag of nails. He pointed out that the person who bought the nails could have gone to one of his rivals' shops and bought a bag of nails if he thought that was an unfair price. Also, it was one of his rivals who brought the charge of usury against Mr. Keayne, usury being one of the sins, and he rankled him. And at the end of his life, he wrote a long apologia, a long explanation in his will, several hundred pages explaining why he didn't think he had committed a sin. Also, why he didn't think he should have been charged in an ecclesiastical court, even though he was a devout Puritan. He's also one of the town's leading benefactors. He's also, by the way, responsible for something that happened. He must have come over in the 1630s, so you'll edit that and have me saying he came over in the 1630s. A widow in town, the widow Brown, had a sow, and the sow went missing. Okay? Apparently the sow went missing. What we know first happened was Mr. Keayne found a sow. He advertised that he has found this wayward sow. If a sow is a female pig. Pigs would roam in the streets. And here is this pig that had been roaming in the streets. Mr. Keayne took it home. He advertises, I found this sow. He keeps it in his pen. And then no one comes forward to claim the sow. And so he butchers the sow and sells the bacon, the ham, and so on. And then the next year, the widow Brown comes forward and says, my sow went missing, and Robert Keayne took it. This is before we got to that bag of nails. He's the wealthiest man in town. She is a poor widow. Who are you sympathetic to?
The widow.
The widow? You say, why, Andrew? You say no, you're not.
We're going to take the wealthiest man.
Excuse me?
We're in the wealthiest man's word.
Yeah, he had advertised. Does she have any proof that this was her sow? She'd never seen the sow. He had advertised that it was a missing sow. Now suddenly she comes forward saying, it's my sow that he butchered. I mean, no one was taking pictures of the sow, painting pictures of the sow, no real proof of it. And this gets to the court that met in the town. Actually, at this time, the court would have met in the church that would have been right here, their meeting house. The first meeting house was right here. This gentleman is filling in for the psalms that would have been sung at the meeting house. And the general court that met as the government of the Massachusetts Bay province. And the court meets, and in the court there are magistrates and deputies. The deputies are essentially the ones chosen by the magistrates. The magistrates represent the towns, and the deputies are there to assist the governor, and they all meet together, and they can't agree on who is responsible here. The magistrates kind of side with the widow, okay? And the deputies, higher class of people, side with the wealthiest man in town. And what proof does she have? And they can't agree because there are more magistrates than deputies. They keep outvoting the deputies, and the deputies say, hey, we're not going to meet with you anymore. So they meet separately. This is actually the beginning of a two-house legislature. We have a lower house, the magistrates, the upper house, the deputies, and we have this because of the widow Brown missing her sow, accusing Robert Keayne of butchering it. And that's not, by the way, none of this is what I meant to tell you about. I meant to point out the seal on the building. Up there is the seal of the Massachusetts Bay province. And has anyone noticed this in daylight? I don't know if your light can shine that should have brought the spotlight to focus on the seal. It is a native person. He's flanked by 2 pine trees. One thing they noticed was there are a lot of pine trees here, and he has his arrow pointed down, symbolizing that he's at peace. But he is saying something. I don't know if any of you can read what he is saying. There's like a cartoon stream coming out of his mouth. He is saying, "Come over and help us." This is a line from one of the epistles in the New Testament, the Macedonians calling on the apostles to come and help them. And this is the way the Puritans saw themselves. We are coming over to help these people. And it's similar to the way the Spanish thought they were coming over to help these people. So this is the seal of the Massachusetts Bay Province, the native person saying, "Come over and help us," which is the way the Puritans imagined the reason they were coming over. On the other side of the street, you can see a round circle of cobblestones. Does anyone see it? That was the town well. So Boston, place of living water, still you needed a central place to get water, so that was the town well. Why don't we cross over while we have a chance?